Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe. Today we are reading about Sri Krishna Das Babaji. So in medieval India, war was often between pandits, and this was very popular at that time. War means fighting with knowledge of Shastras. So once a South Indian pandit was going around the country challenging every famous pandita for Shastra art, meaning a discussion on the true intent of the Shastras, with a view to establish himself as Digvijay, meaning world conqueror in Shastra Artha. After conquering the whole of South India, he came to Vrindavana. The pandits of Vrindavana did not have the courage to face him, but they also did not want that the South Indian Pandita should get away with easy victory over Vraja, which had been an important center of culture and learning for centuries. They thought that if he could be persuaded to go to Govardhan and challenge Siddha Sri Krishna Das Babaji, he would certainly be defeated. The risk, however, was that Sri Krishna Das Baba might, out of humility or on account of his preoccupation with bhajana, accept defeat without entering into Shastra Artha. So they went and said to the Pandita, "Most exalted sir, we are convinced of your extraordinary intelligence and learning. None of us is fit even to converse with you. But if you go to Govardhan and defeat Sri Krishna Das Baba in Shastra Artha, you would be automatically recognized as world conqueror, since he is known as the crest jewel of pandits all over India. But he will enter into Shastra Artha or discussion with you only if he considers you a suitable match for him. Otherwise, he will refuse to talk to you under some pretext or other. You will then have to lure him by saying something disparaging against Vraja, something bad about Vraja, which would touch the softest corner of his heart and compel him to accept your challenge to save the honor of Vraja." This was enough to enthuse the proud Pandita to meet and compel Sri Krishna Das Baba to enter into discussion. He went to Krishna Das Baba in Govardhan and said, "I have heard that you are recognized as the crest jewel of the Pandits all over the country. I have come to challenge you to prove that you deserve this title by entering into Shastra Artha with me. I have already established my supremacy in South India. By defeating you, I will establish my supremacy in this part of the country as well." Baba said, "What you have heard about me is not correct. Far from being a match for a great Pandita like you, I am not fit even to sit at your feet. Shastra Artha with me has no meaning at all." The Pandita thought that what he was told by the Pandits of Vrindavana was perhaps correct. Baba was cleverly avoiding him because he did not consider him to be a suitable match for him. But he burst out, "I had come here with the expectation that I will find someone in this great seat of culture and learning who would be suitable match for me and with whom I could discuss the Shastras. But I find that there is not a single Pandita here who can even recite the Vedas correctly. How disgraceful for Vraja. Baba then said, yes, it is true. There is no one here who can even recite the Vedas like you. Would you kindly recite some line of Samaveda? The Pandita was only looking for an opportunity to show his extraordinary talent. He recited a Shruti mantra with great delight and gusto, meaning like enjoyment. To his surprise, Baba pointed out 3 faults in the swara, or tone and accent of recitation. The Pandita said with indignation, I have yet to find a Pandita in Bharata who can recite the mantra better than me. Let me see how you recite it. Baba then recited the mantra in perfect Samaveda style and swara intonation, which the Pandita had never heard before. He was spellbound and could not restrain himself from falling at the feet of Baba and saying, Maharaj, you are invincible. There is no one in this world who can be a match to you. Your learning is not of this world. It is a gift from above. Truly, Baba's learning was not of this world. In fact, nothing relating to him was of this world. From the very beginning, his life was planned and embellished by powers that are not mundane. His saintly life itself was not planned by him. He was born in a rich family in Orissa, in the lineage of the great saint Sri Narottam Thakur. When his father, Sanatana Kanunago, died, his mother became Sati, meaning that she sacrificed herself on a funeral pyre of her husband. So she became Sati. At the time of going to the funeral pyre, she was in an exalted state. In that state, she charged her 3 sons to adopt 3 different ways of life. She charged her youngest son, Bhatta Krishna, to go to Vrindavana and do bhajana. Bhatta Krishna was later known as Siddha Krishna Das. A man who desires to renounce the world to lead the life of a sadhu or sannyasi has to struggle with himself, with his parents, and with the world before renunciation. But Krishna Das Baba's sadhu way of life was already planned by spiritual forces. It came to him as a gift from his saintly mother. At the age of 16, he renounced the world and went to Vrindavana. After staying in Vrindavana for a couple of years, he went to Jaipur with a view to serve Govindaji. The Maharaj of Jaipur was pleased to appoint him as Pujari in the temple of Govindaji. He served Govindaji with devotion for 8 or 9 years. However, during this period, he was often pestered by sex impulse. This caused him great anxiety. He wondered how, although he had been taking Govindaji's prasad for many years, he was still being plagued by sex desires. Was sex even more powerful than Govindaji's prasad, which was Chinmaya, or transcendental? and was supposed to have the capacity to crush all material desires. There was no one in Jaipur who could provide an answer to this question. So he went to Vraja and put his predicament before Jai Krishna Das Baba of Kamyavan. Baba said, "Look, my son," I mean Jai Krishna Das Baba said this, "Look, my son, wood which is cut from a green tree and dipped in water does not catch fire. Does it prove that fire does not have the capacity to burn? Fire always has the capacity to burn, but it burns the wood dipped in water only when it becomes dry. In order that it may become dry, it has to be put in fire constantly for some time. Similarly, the soul or jiva, which has been immersed in the ocean of sensuous enjoyment and sinful activities from times immemorial, has to free itself from their adverse effect by practicing bhakti sadhana for some time before it can realize the real nature and feel the full effect of spiritual objects like the prasad of Govindaji. During sadhana, one must avoid eating anything which comes from a person indulging in sensuous or sinful activities, even if it comes in the form of prasad of Govindaji. Don't you remember that Mahaprabhu refused to eat Jagannathji's prasad, which Raghunath Das purchased out of the money sent to him by his father, and said, even prasad purchased out of the money of a Vishayi, worldly-minded person, invites Rajoguna, or the strand or principle of worldly activity, means Rajaguna. In this connection, Jai Krishna Das Baba narrated a story. He said, a prostitute of Bengal had a change of heart. She took Diksha from a Vaishnava guru and wanted to offer all her wealth to him. The guru advised her to go to Vrindavana and offer all her ornaments and wealth to Govindaji. She went to Vrindavana, but when she expressed her desire to the pujari of Govindaji, he refused to accept anything from her. This broke her heart. She decided to fast until death. She went to the bank of Yamuna and lay there without taking even a drop of water for 3 days. On the 4th day, Govindaji appeared before the pujari in a dream and said, you go to the bank of Yamuna, where that prostitute is lying. Take all her wealth, purchase provisions, and offer bhog to me. Offer food to me. The pujari did that. He offered bhog in a huge quantity and arranged for a grand festival. All the Vaishnavas were invited. The same night, the Vaishnavas had nocturnal emissions, meaning, they got suspicious about the prasad they had taken the previous day. When, on inquiry from the pujari, they found the bhoga to Govindaji that day was offered by the prostitute, there was no end to their agony. They started fasting to remove or to repent for the sin committed in eating the bhoga offered by the prostitute. On the 3rd day of the fast, each of the Vaishnavas had a similar dream, in which Govindaji said, why are you starving? Do you want to commit suicide? The Vaishnavas replied, "What else can we do when you accept the offerings of a prostitute and we have to eat her food because it comes to us in the form of your prasad? Does that not destroy our dharma or our religiousness? But when did I ask you to eat the prostitute's food? I can digest everything, but I do not ask you to eat everything that I eat," said Govindaji. "If food offered by an impure person comes to us as your prasad, what should we do? Should we commit an offense by refusing it? Under the circumstance," now Govindaji is saying, "you should take only a particle of it to obviate, to not do any offense," advised Govindaji. Then Baba further added, "With regard to Govindaji's prasad, you should act upon the advice of Govindaji himself, because Govindaji's bhog is made with the financial aid of the Maharaj, who is worldly-minded person." So Krishna Das took Jai Krishna Das Baba's advice to heart. He decided not to take Govindaji's prasad. He left Jaipur and began to do bhajana in Domanvan, a forest near Nandagram in Vraja. He did not take prasad from any temple or ashrama. He begged wheat flour from Vrajabasis, mixed some neem leaves in it, and added some water to make it like a ball. He ate the ball, sometimes baked, sometimes unbaked. The result was that he became weaker and weaker and lost his eyesight. He could no more go for begging. For a number of days, he lived only on the water of a pond. In the end, he became so weak that it was not possible for him even to go to the pond. 2 or 3 days passed without a drop of water. Then Radharani's heart melted. She said to Lalita, "Don't you see, Lalita? Krishna Das is starving. Would you let him starve like this and bring disgrace to me? Take this thala or plate of prasad and go and feed him." Lalita took the plate of prasad from Radharani's hand. She went to Domavan in the disguise of a Vrajabala, a Vrajavasi girl, and said to Krishna Das, "Baba, take this prasad. My mother has taken pity on you and sent this." The sweet words of the girl and the unearthly smell of the prasad gave new life of dying Krishna Das. He sat up and ate the prasad. After eating, he began to clean the plate. The girl asked, "Baba, why don't you go for begging?" "How can I go, Lali? My eyesight is gone." Lali means girl, not that he knew that she is Lalita. "Will you go if the sight is restored? Look, my mother has sent an ointment. I shall apply it to your eyes, and your sight will be restored." As she said this, she touched his eyes with her finger. With the soft and soothing touch of her finger, Baba's sight was fully restored. He could see everything, but not the girl and the plate which he had cleaned just before. Both had mysteriously disappeared, but their heavenly smell still filled the environment. Who was that girl? Where had she come from? How did she suddenly disappear? And how the mere touch of her finger restored his sight? All this remained a mystery to him. He kept restlessly thinking on this for 3 days. On the 3rd day at night, when he was half asleep, he saw that suddenly his cottage was aglow or filled with light, with divine light, and filled with divine fragrance. Radharani stood before him with a sweet smile on her face. She said in her ambrosial voice, "Now, what are you thinking about? No more worry and fear from you. No more worry and fear for you. You have attained the end of your life. From now on, I am yours and you are mine." With the touch of the hand of my Saki Lalita, you have been blessed not only with Drishti Shakti or power to see, but with all other Shaktis or powers. Now go to Govardhan and find an easy path for my attainment, for the Vaishnavas having faith in me. After saying this, Radharani disappeared. For a long time, her words, "I am yours and you are mine," kept resounding in his ears, and he kept swimming freely in the ocean of love that seemed to flow from them. The whole night he was tossed up and down by the waves of the ocean, and his body was shaken by powerful undercurrents of sattvika bhavas. Wow, so beautiful. In the morning, he somehow collected himself and went to Govardhan. There he began to live in a place called Chakaleshwara. Though Baba was now accomplished in bhajana, he could not do anything except bhajana. For though bhajana is a means, it is also an end in itself. Even Bhagavan is always engaged in bhajana. While the devotee does the bhajana of Bhagavan, Bhagavan does the bhajana of the devotee. During those days, there were a number of Vaishnavas in Radhakund and Govardhan who did bhajana on the basis of the Sanskrita works of Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatan, and other Goswamis. Krishnadas Baba also wanted to do the same, but he did not know Sanskrit. Therefore, he started learning Harinama Amrita Vyakarana. So this is Sanskrit grammar compiled by Sri Jiva Goswami. So he started to learn this from an old Vaishnava. But he soon found himself in a predicament. He felt that his study was a hindrance in bhajana, and bhajana was a hindrance in study. So it didn't help one for other. He could not reconcile the two, to connect these two things. But he could neither leave bhajana nor study. The problem became so acute and painful that he began to think of committing suicide by drowning in Manasi Ganga. That night, he heard someone calling, "Krishnadas, Krishnadas," from outside of his kuti or cottage. Coming out of the cottage, he saw Sanatana Goswami and Lalita Devi standing before him. He was overwhelmed with joy and bewilderment. He lay prostrate at their feet and did not know what to do. Sanatan Goswami said, fondly rubbing his hand on his head, "Krishnadas, how are you? Do you get Madhukari all right?" "Yes, Prabhu," replied Krishnadas with folded hands. Then Sanatan Goswami said, "Look, Shastras are infinite. One need not die because he cannot learn them all. I bless that from today You do not have to learn any Shastra. All the Shastras themselves illuminate your heart. Do not think of committing suicide. We have a great mission to be fulfilled through you. Then Lalita said, I bless that whenever you remember us, your heart will be illuminated by our presence, and a new method of bhajana will be unfolded by you for the benefit of the Vaishnavas residing in Vraja. After this, both touched Krishna Das Baba's head with their feet and disappeared. Now, Krishna Das Baba, instead of learning Harinama Amrita Vyakarana, started teaching it to students. He also started giving instructions in a new method of Lila Smarana, contemplation of the divine Lila, which was devised by him, in which the Ashtayama Lila, or Lila pertaining to 8 parts of the day, each part consisting of 3 hours, so in which the Ashtayama Lila of Radha Krishna, as described in Govinda Lilamrita, Samkalpa Kalpadruma, Krishna Dagiti Chintamani, and Krishna Bhavanamrita, and other scripture, is meditated upon along with the Ashtayama Lila of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Ashtayama Lila Smarana, the sadhaka imagines himself to be in the transcendental body or Siddha Deha, appropriate for the type of bhakti to which he is naturally inclined, and to be serving Radha and Krishna day and night through that body. By constant meditation or smarana, he makes the whole of Raja Lila live live before him. He enters into that Lila in his imagination, and by serving Radha and Krishna according to the particular bhava or mood of bhakti adopted by him, lives in the ecstasy of that vicarious enjoyment. The imaginary transcendental body, however, is not wholly imaginary. It is a mental reflection of the transcendental body, which Bhagavan, out of infinite kindness, imparts to the devotee. That the transcendental body is a gift of Bhagavan is corroborated by the second line of Shloka 3.9.11 of Srimad Bhagavata, which says as follows. Oh, it doesn't have 1 second. So this he said that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti interprets the text of this shloka to mean that Bhagavan imparts to the devotee a transcendental body exactly like the one which he imagines himself to possess, and which is essential for the particular mode of bhakti practiced by him, because he is bound to do so on account of his always being subservient to the devotee. So the Vaishnavas, whom Baba gave instruction in Ashtakalina Lila Smarana, assembled every evening in his cottage and reported about their bhajana. One day, one of the Vaishnavas, instead of reporting anything, started weeping. When Baba inquired about the cause of weeping, he said, Baba, I could not do any bhajana today. In my morning Lila Smarana, when I was ornamenting the right arm of Radharani, my mind was so engrossed in the lustrous beauty of her arm that I tried very much to disengage my mind, but could not. and Smarana could not proceed further. Baba said to him encouragingly, "Only your bhajana today has been successful." Many stories are current about Baba's own bhajana siddhi, or his accomplishment in bhajana. Once in his smarana, Baba was participating in the holy lila of Radha Krishna. In the lila, his body was smeared with gulal or vermilion, kasturi or musk, and colors of different kind. When he went out of his cottage after Smarana, he was still half conscious. People were surprised to see him colored all over and to smell the fragrance of transcendental musk emanating from his body. So this shows how thin line is between imagination and reality in Lila Smarana. Once Baba saw in his Smarana that Radha Krishna had just come out of the Manasi Ganga after Jalakeli, or the lions, fun in water. Lalita, Vishaka, and the other Sakis were busy dressing and adorning them. Rupa Manjari and others were collecting material for adornment. Krishna Das Baba was standing by in his Siddha Manjari form with a phial of scent in his hand. When he heard Radha and Krishna talking mirthfully and jestingly, he was so overwhelmed with bhava that he began to tremble, and the phial of scent fell from his hand and broke. Its fragrance spread all over. People who came to bath in the Manasinganga were surprised to scent a sweet and heavenly smell, such as they never experienced before. When they inquired from Baba about it, he said, "What should I say? I am an aparadi, offender. I am not fit for the service of Priya Priyatama, my most beloved Radha and Krishna. At the time of their service, I let fall the phial of scent from my hand. The smell you are scenting is the fragrance of the same." Once Baba went to take bath in Manasi Ganga with karava, or earthen pot with handle. He saw Priya Priyatama having fun in water. He was so overwhelmed with bhava that he jumped into the waters of Manasi Ganga. No one else was there at that time. When he did not reach back to his cottage for a long time, his disciples began to search for him, but he could not be found. There was wailing and crying all over Vraja, but they were all surprised and happy when they saw him coming out of Manasi Ganga after 7 days. When they asked him where he had been for 7 days, he was amazed and said, "7 days? Why? I'm just coming out after my bath." This seems to explode the old principle of absoluteness of space and time and confirm the new scientific principle of relativity of space and time. Baba had entered a world where the dimensions of space and time are altogether different. But the transcendental world of Radha Krishna transcends even the scientific principle of relativity. We are told by Shastras that in that world, space and time also serve Radha Krishna. They expand and contract according to their wish. Hmm. Once Jashwanta Singh, the Raja of Bharatpur, went to Siddha Krishnadas Baba and said, Baba, I want to render some service. Kindly let me know what I can do for you. Baba said, we sadhus of Vraja get Madhukari from the Vrajavasis. You can serve us by serving them. The Raja gave much land and fortune to the Vrajavasis in alms, for which they expressed their gratefulness to him even today. After that, he came to Baba again and said, I shall be blessed if you also kindly accept something. Uh, Inscrutable are the ways in which the Siddha saints sometimes behave. Baba said, if you are so keen on my service, do one thing. You have a large number of queens. Send me the queen you love most. The Raja obeyed. His dearest queen, Rani Lakshmini, came to Baba, surrounded on all sides by curtains so that no one except Baba could see her. As soon as the jingling sound of the kinkini and nupur, kinkini is uh, a girdle set with tiny bells producing a sweet jingling sound, and nupur around ankles also like jingling sound making. So as soon as the jingling sound of the kinkini and nupur of the Rani resounded in Baba's ears, he was reminded reminded of Radharani's kinkini and nupur and was transported into ecstasy. With eyes wide open, he kept looking at her as if looking at Radharani. The Rani also stood stock still, benumbed and astounded. At a distance of about 8 or 10 yards from him, this continued for about 3 hours. The female attendants of the Rani, out of anxiety and curiosity, lifted the curtains a little to see what was happening. They were surprised to see that the Rani was standing still in a half-conscious state, and Baba was constantly looking at her. They reported this to the Raja. The Raja came and took the Rani away. For how long could she remain standing motionless like a statue? But Baba continued sitting in the same state the whole day and night. The next day, he became half conscious, and the third day, fully conscious. The Raja had no knowledge of the state of bhava in the higher stages of bhakti. So the whole affair aroused suspicion in his mind. Baba then called him, placed his hand upon his forehead, and blessed him. Immediately his suspicion was gone. He realized that the sweet sound of the kinkini and nupur of the Rani had acted as udipan vibhava, or enchanting excitant, and blazed in Baba's mind the consciousness of Radharani, and that for 2 days continually he was absorbed in the darshana of Radharani in place of the queen. This episode brought about a total change in Rani Lakshmini. Standing before Baba for 3 hours, she felt that Baba was instilling bhakti into her heart through his eyes. From a Rani given to luxurious living, she became a devotee. The stories of her devotion are still remembered in Vraja. Once she went to Radhakund with a view to spend a large amount of money in the service of the Vaishnava sadhus living there. But the sadhus said they could not accept the service of a queen. This brought tears in her eyes. So she said, "Kindly bless me, so that in my next life I am not born in a royal family, but in a family in which I am considered fit for the service of the Vaishnavas." This moved the Vaishnavas. So they said, "You can do one thing. If you prepare cow dung cakes with your own hands and sell them, we can accept the money you thus earn yourself." So Rani did that. Baba used to hear Bhakti Shastras read out to him by capable Vaishnavas. It is said that at the time of hearing the lecture, he used to be so much overwhelmed with sattvika bhavas that he would have incessant flow of tears from his eyes, phlegm from his nose, and saliva from his mouth. Two persons sitting on either side of him continuously tried to wipe his face but could not. There was hardly any Vaishnava in Vraj who did not go to Baba for advice regarding bhajana. Though Baba was himself always absorbed in bhajana, he welcomed everyone and encouraged him in bhajana by giving him necessary instructions. Most of the sadhakas whom Baba gave instructions in bhajana became siddha. Prominent among them were Krishna Das the second, Krishna Das of Govardhan, Nityananda Das of Madan Mohan Taur, Balaram Das of Janu Mandala, and Lala Babu or Krishna Das the third. So later we will read some of the stories of these siddhas. So this is the story of our Sri Krishna Das Babaji. So beautiful story, and actually what mostly touched me was the part when Radharani came to him and she said, "I am yours and you are mine." So beautiful, so beautiful. So I hope you liked it. Maybe somebody would like to say something. Jayananda ji, Radhe Radhe. Maybe you?
Radhe Radhe. Very nice to hear from you. And this is very, I was reading first time, I was so impressed this part, this Baba, especially this Govindaji's prasada. Because slowly I realized, after eating Mungal Raj Mandir prasada, and sometime I brought a few devotees to outside temple, then eat prasada, and then sensitive devotee could feel the difference. So even though prasada, but still, who is cooking? Who is giving money?
Yeah.
So this is different. And
I mean,
also,
yeah, if you see, it's so complicated in a way, I mean, only you are sure if you are preparing it yourself.
Nowadays, like many devotees eating outside, especially like, eating restaurant and many places. Of course, sometimes may be good, but especially according to, consciousness. So I feel, very careful to eat outside or, of course, if some devotee cook by love is, okay, or some person, but sometimes, I also very cautious to eating outside. And also this, this story is very famous story. Even Anantas Maharaj used to, say many times, like meditation, So Baba, I could not do any bhajan today. In my morning Lila Sumarana, when I was ornamenting the right arm of Radharani, my mind was so engrossed in the lustrous beauty of her arm that I tried very much to disengage my mind, but I could not.
Mm.
Radharani could not proceed further. This story was so famous. Anantas Baba, say a few times in his book. And this story I like very much. So this very nice. And how Radhika taking care of their devotee through sending, Radhita or etc. So that's also very beautiful story. Amazing story, actually.
Yes. So, thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
And now we'll start Italian Sangha. So, thank you very much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Go.